Okay. Be proud to yield to the really extraordinary congressman from the state of California, Jim Costa from District 21, who has just been unwavering as a freedom fighter here, not just for our country, but for countries around the world that are trying to liberate themselves from the type of tyranny that Ukraine is facing. Congressman Costa?
Thank you. My colleague, Chairman of the Ukraine Caucus, Marcy Kaptur, for your leadership, and for my other colleagues who have spoken this afternoon, the Speaker Emeritus Pelosi and Representative Steny Hoyer. I rise today to address the ongoing threat Russia poses to Ukraine, to Europe, and the United States, and the broader international order. On February 24th, I think all of us can remember, 2022, Russia, in a pre-planned and unprovoked attack, Ukraine. And at that time, there was broad consensus among Republicans and Democrats what we needed to do, and that was to stand up for democracy. Senator Lindsey Graham said it quite well at the time, that this was about good versus evil. Well, I submit to you today it is still about good versus evil. And since that day, Russia's continued its assault on the rules-based international order. From the illegal annexation of Crimea in 2014 to the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Russia has shown a blatant disregard for international law, national sovereignty, and fundamental human rights. Sadly, I believe that modern-day Russia today is a syndicate masquerading as a country with a mob boss called Putin. That's Russia today. President Putin has violated, as any mob boss would, every international agreement he's ever signed, period. And that's why a peace deal must be backed up by strong military deterrence and strong commitments from Europe and the United States to back Ukraine with NATO-like defense guarantees. It's very clear. Otherwise, Putin has no intention of keeping any agreement. This is not a conventional war. It's a hybrid conflict, combining military force with cyber attacks at all different levels and fronts. Disinformation campaigns, economic warfare, alongside deliberate efforts, mind you, deliberate efforts to weaken NATO and undermine democratic institutions. And they go on attacking civilian neighborhoods, bombing schools, hospitals, and churches. Clearly, Putin is a war criminal. And when the United States hesitates or sends mixed signals, we do not create stability. We invite aggression. Let's be clear about that. History is replete with examples of those who hesitate or send mixed signals. Therefore, American leadership remains the cornerstone of global security. President Trump, Putin respects one thing and one thing only, and that is strength. By supporting Ukraine, the United States is sending a clear message. Authoritarian regimes cannot invade their neighbors without consequences. So I ask the President of the United States to be strong and stand by the brave people of Ukraine and our allies. Any sustainable resolution to this conflict must include Ukraine at the negotiating table. How else could you reach a peace agreement? The country under attack must have a decisive voice in shaping its own future and determining the terms of peace. Otherwise, it's illogical. So, ensuring that agreements respect its sovereignty and the will of its people. Therefore, we must continue to strengthen our alliance, develop agile and region-specific strategies, and ensure that we are prepared to respond across all domains, including cyberspace, informational warfare, and economic coercion, because economic sanctions can work. The President has the leverage with continued military support, economic support, and sanctions, using the sovereign wealth of Russia to repay the damage and the harm that they have created with our European allies. We have the leverage. We cannot allow this aggression to go unanswered. We must stand firmly with Ukraine and defend democracy and the international order that we helped create, that has created prosperity since World War II, the economic prosperity that democratic nations have shared because America stood strong. That same order has brought peace and economic prosperity, think about it, throughout the world for 80 years for democratic nations. So therefore, this is a seminal moment in American and world history that we are facing. I urge my colleagues to act as we have, as Representative Steny Hoyer indicated, 12 times in an overwhelming bipartisan fashion, to stand up for America's values, to stand up for human rights, to act collectively in the bipartisan fashion. Why? Because our security and the security of free nations everywhere depends on it. My colleagues, my friends, the world is watching and looking for American leadership. This is the test of our time. Slava Ukraine, and I yield back the balance of my time.